Okay, mission statement. Our mission here is to create the greatest group of professional traders compiled in the world. We work tirelessly every day to improve our individual selves and push each other to get the most out of one another. With each individual's personal accountability, 100% effort, and consistent actions towards focusing on our controllables, we will each reach our full potential individually and as a family. I, Stefanos, pledge to be the best version of myself today, to do whatever it takes to be the greatest trader that I can be, and to be the most self-disciplined person that I know. I will do the things I have to do today, regardless of how I feel, one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time. I will control what I can control and not worry about anything else. Reminders: we do not overtrade, we do not over-risk. You don't need to catch a trade today. You have a bank holiday in Europe as well, so you may want to be selective on your setups. 1 to 2 trade ideas per day, maybe 3 if you see a perfect setup. Focus on capital appreciation over capital, focus on capital preservation over capital appreciation. Risk management is your first and number 1 priority. Keep your training plan in front of you. Read it before each session. Stack smart decisions. That's what you're focusing on. Keep your horse blinders on and just stack smart decisions one at a time. Trade what you see, not what you think. We are system oriented, not how much money can I make on this trade. Think longevity, think efficiency, think long term. We aren't here just to make as much as we can this week. We're here to learn, and we're here to become better traders over the course of our lives, every single day. Have a sense of urgency today with your daily musts. And then finally, most importantly, eliminate excuses and any victim mindset, full accountability for your actions and decisions. All right. So looking at the economic calendar, big week, right? The main focus is going to be the Fed this week, but starting with today, we got bank holidays in Europe. Moving on later on this morning, we're going to have ISM manufacturing coming out of the U.S., so that may give us some solid volume at 10 a.m., as 10 a.m. normally has some good volume, as I would say the last year and a half. 10 a.m. has been a very good hour for us. But that's pretty much the main focus today. Like I said, GBP, Great Britain, Europe, Germany, France, Italy, all have bank holidays today. What is the bank holiday, by the way?
It's is it? Am I muted? No.
No, you're good.
It's work holiday.
Okay.
The Labor Day.
Oh, Labor Day. Okay.
Yeah, Labor Day.
So this is your Labor Day. Okay, cool. Awesome. You guys are still showing up. Good for you. All right. Looking at Tuesday now. You got the bank rate coming out for Australia, which is basically going to be late tonight for us in the US. Let's see. Moving on later in the morning, a lot of stuff coming out, during the London session over here. So I'm sure a lot of that pent up volume from today is going to be coming out tomorrow. Got a lot of manufacturing PMI coming out for European countries. GBP as well. That's going to be coming out at 4:30. I'll be awake. Looking at 10 a.m., we're not going to have much during the New York session, but as it's Tuesday, start the month off, we may have some good volume pumping in on Tuesday, being that we have the bank holiday on Monday. So maybe we may have some ranging today, maybe not. Maybe we get a move, but what's it called? I think a lot of more volume we're going to be sustaining on Tuesday. But you're going to have George job openings coming out for the U.S., so that's another big indicator for the Fed when it comes to monetary policy. You have unemployment rate coming out for New Zealand dollar, Bank of New Zealand, bank holiday for Japan as well. Won't affect us too much. But moving into Wednesday is going to be our main day here. This is where we're going to get a lot of volume. Right. And what I want to do on Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to be back testing the Fed funds rate, seeing how we're going to be able to catch this later on. We're going to be on what I'm going to do is probably start our session, that 1 o'clock session, more so on around like 1:30. And then we'll go through like 2:30, maybe even 3 o'clock when it comes to, or maybe we just started. No, I would say we'll start at like 1:30, 1:45. And then we'll go through the bank statement and then also the press conference up until around like 3 o'clock, 3:15, so that we can catch that move. We're also going to be on during the morning session as well because we have ADP. May get a solid move, but again, Fed funds rate is going to be a big deal, and that's what's really going to move the market later on. So again, you could expect some consolidation early in the morning. even though we are getting these two data points coming out, ADP and ISM Services PMI coming out. Another bank holiday for Japan as well. Thursday, right, we got the monetary policy coming out of Europe. So that's going to be very important. And again, big focus for the week is monetary policy. And this is most likely for a lot of these central banks going to be the last time they hike. There's going to be a 90%, or they're saying there's a 90% chance that the Fed increases by 25 basis points in May. And then in June, they're going to be done. They're going to keep rates the same throughout the rest of the year. So this may be the last rate hike that we end up getting. Might end up getting priced in a lot throughout the beginning of the week, but that's something that you can expect, that being the last rate hike. Same thing with Europe as well. They are a little bit more hawkish. They've been talking more about increasing rates a little bit more out of Europe and not hesitating. I think the Fed has been the same way, but also kind of leaning back. Like the Fed keeps talking about inflation and that being the main focus, which I agree with, but you just don't want to send us into a recession. That's another conversation. But moving into tomorrow, again, you got unemployment claims coming out of the U.S. Got some prelim non-farm productivity coming out and trade balance. You got a press conference coming out for the ECB. Macklin's going to be speaking out of Canada as well. Another bank holiday. I mean, Japan's been on bank holiday all week, it seems. But looking at Friday now, we got NFP. That's going to be our main focus for the remainder of the week, right? The end of the week this week, we're going to be getting NFP. So that'll be a big focus for us on Friday. We should be able to grab a nice move on Friday as well. So looking at GJ, we're going to start with GJ over here. Monthly ended up finishing off very strong. Remember, we were rejecting 168 over here, couldn't figure out where we wanted to go. We were kind of ranging around this area. And then towards the end of the week, Friday gave us a great move during London into New York as well, tapping into 172 right now. And if you look to the left over here, mainly you have our resistance right over here that we're tapping into. This candle closed a very strong bullish candle, but barely a top wick, right? Now this candle has a bottom wick and it tapped into 172, but you're starting to see a little retracement right here. That doesn't mean we're exhausting, but just keep in mind that we are sitting at a resistance right over here, and there's going to be a lot of profit taking. Doesn't mean that buyers aren't still in the market, and it doesn't mean that sellers are definitely going to be taking over, but it's a good chance that it does end up happening. It's a good chance that sellers do take over here. But looking at the weekly now, weekly doesn't look too different, obviously, because it's a new week, and that's how the week ended up closing anyway, based on it being Friday. And now we tap right into the same exact area right over here. As you can see, 172, very psychological level. I'll actually move that right there. Put a horizontal line here. The thicker. So that being that horizontal line, 172, very psychological level as well, us tapping into it. But we could very well continue through that level right now up into that resistance as well. We'll see what it looks like on the 4-hour, the daily, the 1 hour as well. See if that's going to be our next target, 173. Obviously, psychological level as well. We've rejected it multiple times here to the left in the past. So we could very well end up reaching that area and then continuing right back down. But you saw how the monthly looks. You're now seeing how the weekly looks. This candle didn't give us much range right here, right? And we just pretty much passed the high, identical bottom wick, but now you're starting to see that retracement. But you start to see the higher lows being formed on the lower time frames, which is what I wanted to point out to you. Again, we've been respecting this bullish trend here. Beautiful move coming up. Looks like we're going to be a little exhausted if you look over here as well, being that we're kind of respecting this channel over here. Could be at the resistance of that channel, and we could get some kind of a pullback at any point. I'm not saying it's going to be a complete pullback back down to 168. It could, but there are opportunities where price could come back down into like 169, somewhere around here. And I'm not even saying it may come back to that area. But like I said, if sellers take over and buyers take all their profit, you're going to see some kind of a correction down here and then a continuation back up. Let's see the 4 hour now. Oh, still got that marked off from last week. We're going to take this channel off just because it's not necessarily useful. But right now, what you're starting to see here is what typically happens whenever you have like a big move. Quentin, help me out here. Whenever you have a big move, right, all the way up into a psychological level, a nice resistance, what typically happens right at that area? Do we completely correct right away? What are the chances?
I mean,
Do you get what I'm
very
saying?
often it does consolidate, but I think it's we do see some strong correction right after tapping into a level like often enough to not say it is going to consolidate.
I should have asked it a little bit better. What are some of the different options that could happen?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I either will reject right away, but I'd say that's maybe like 30% of the time.
I like that.
And more often we will get that consolidation and then either break up or consolidation and come back down, grab more orders.
You think what kind of formation could you see happening right here too? Like we just tapped into this area.
Oh,
Now you're
like
starting to see
double
some,
top.
maybe, right? Could be a triple top, but could be
Yeah.
that consolidation right in this area, right over here before price ends up correcting over here to continue right back down. So we could get like a double top, triple top.
Dozens of possibilities.
Yeah, and like I said, we could very well break through this area up into 173 as well, right?
Yeah, you don't want to marry anything. You just want to wait and see if it gives you something.
That's the beauty of trading price action and being able to read candles is just knowing that you could wait and you have multiple biases that you could be playing into and waiting for. You have your main bias, but you got a secondary bias and you got a plan for each one. So looking over here, 172, we actually just adjust this. Got OCD there. So you have that previous support over here, previous resistance. You had a little fake out right there before price continued right back down. Our next target is probably going to be anywhere in this area. Right now, you can really mark it off as like a thick zone over here, previous resistance multiple times. Price is going to want to be coming in to this area at some point if we could close above 172, right? But right now, we can make that thin because that's how we trade on the lower time frames. Now, what we're seeing here is just like we saw on the weekly, to the upside where that top wick on the weekly was barely that big, right? It wasn't that big. The next candle passed the high right away. What you're seeing now is the high being created at 172. And at any point, whenever you get, this is kind of what you guys look for in the lower time frames too, is the high created at some point, and you look for a pullback so that you could grab the buys coming back up. It could come back into here to continue up. It could come back all the way to 169 to continue right back up. There's multiple options for you. But right now, it's looking like we're holding support at 172 here with this current candle as it's flipping bullish. Now, take a look at how the 1 hour closed here. This was my cue over here to take the buy. You have that resistance that you could really draw it up here as well. We'll see on the lower time frames, like if you take it right here, because you got that current support that we're holding, which I'm actually gonna mark that off as well. But I'm just trying to mark off this wick and how we ended up getting this wick liquidity grab. This candle didn't close a weak bearish candle. It flipped bullish and closed bullish, right? Next candle ended up creating a bottom wick, passing the high of the previous candle right now, and now we're taking off, right? So now what I have is a buy-in Where's my stop loss? Yeah, right below these candles, right over here. I think it's a little bit closer. I'm not necessarily looking for a complete retest of that high. I'm just looking for a nice 1-to-1 on a bank holiday day, right? Like I said, Great Britain, they're in the bank holiday, not looking for anything crazy, not trying to get greedy, just trying to, close 80%. Typical entry point, typical break and retest setup that I look for. I'm just looking for that 1-to-1, about 20 pips, secure 80%, stop loss at break even, and let this thing ride. Now, depending on how it closes, I may not even move my stop loss to break even. I may keep it at its original spot or move it below this candle and give it some room to breathe to continue back up. But looking at the 30-minute, 30-minute ended up giving us a beautiful bullish candle close right over here, right? Nice bottom wick, passing the high of the previous candle, and then passing that wick as well. Looks like we're continuing up so far. So far, so good. But we're just going to monitor this and see how it plays out. But you guys see how we tapped into this area where we consolidated towards the end of last week. You guys got a nice move. Actually, we got a nice move during Asian last night, right? Liquidity grab, past the high of the previous candle. Continued all the way up to 172. And then you get this pullback over here. Did anybody take advantage of this pullback? Was anyone able to get that?
Me.
No.
What was that? Who's user?
I took a buy as a kind of flip bullish.
Where at?
Immediately flip bullish at your entry.
Right here?
Yes.
You took a buy right here?
Yes, let me point it out.
Okay. So that was this your second trade or first trade? Because I know you took gold as well.
So this is my second trade for the day.
Okay. So would you say that you're done right now?
Yeah, this is my last trade.
Okay. What, the gold one?
Oh.
Yeah, send over your chart, Precious.
It's at the group chat. The Trello general Trello.
Oh, you put it in the group Trello already?
Yes.
Good job, buddy. Good stuff. Don't see it yet. I actually have to make a new week. Let me do that real quick.
Okay. I made a new week.
You sure you're on the right group Trello?
Yes.
April 30th to May 5th. Oh shit, Cinco de Mayo is it's coming up. Lewis, you got any plans?
No, yet, bro. Not yet.
Not
I'm
yet.
going to Mexico Memorial Day weekend. Going to Cancun.
Ooh, nice. Good stuff, man. All right. Yeah, Precious, let me know when you figure that out. We're gonna break down the charts and then we'll go back to it, okay?
Okay, sir.
All right. So that's GJ right now. What I am looking for is at least a pullback up into this area right here. Definitely a good spot that you may want to be securing if you're in the same trade. But yeah, we're gonna stay patient. I am looking and monitoring this area right here. Could get a slight pullback, but again, I'm not trading on the 15-minute. I'm trading based on the 1 hour and the 30-minute. And the 1 hour gave us that liquidity grab to possibly continue up and at least give us a 1-to-1. And the 30-minute as well closed a strong bullish. We got the bottom wick form, past the high, broke that wick right there, and continued up. I'm able to see pressure trade on group trade. Oh, you know what? Yeah, thank you, Lim. I was just thinking that as I was reading your thing. Thank you very much. Okay, awesome. List. Oh, so this is gold buys. Okay, so Precious, we're on GJ right now. So let's okay, I'm looking at this right now. Nice trade. We're gonna break this down on the after we break down gold, okay? And then we'll talk about your journaling as well, where we can improve that as well. So all right, looking at gold on the monthly. over here, still rejecting 2000. Monthly candle ended up rejecting 2000 and closing right below that level. Again, there's not enough fear in the market right now. There's a little bit more optimism knowing that the last rate hike is going to be coming next, or this week actually. But also at the same factor, you're getting maybe a little bit stronger of a dollar. Not so strong, but at least it's holding a support up here, right? If you take a look at the dollar right now, we've been in a very bearish trend. We know we have a weaker dollar, but we've been holding this demand zone for quite some time, since mid-April over here. So we've had these impulsive bearish moves on the dollar, right? And that's what's kept gold propped up. But at the same time, we've also been holding the higher lows here. Been holding higher lows here and continuing up a little bit and giving us a little bullish trend right now, right? So just keep that in mind for gold, as gold now finished April rejecting 2000 and a lot weaker of a candle. You had a very strong candle over here, nice strong bottom wick, past the high of the previous candle over here, tapped into 2050, right? And then ended up closing a lot weaker of a candle with a long top wick here. Right? That doesn't mean that we're not going to possibly fill that wick at some point. It could end up happening. Like I said, I'm bullish on gold with the inflation and also the fear in the market that's possibly coming towards the end of the year. But at the same time, we are still holding below here, and that's what we see, not what we think. So looking at the weekly is still kind of consolidating over here, right? You got that previous resistance, price holding support. Right now, you're holding like a higher low over here as we closed out last week, right? We ended up holding this higher low here. Anytime you finish a bearish candle with a bullish candle, you end up getting a support. So right now, also the current weekly candle so far is holding support and also holding a higher low here, and now starting to possibly flip bullish here, right? But again, we're really just kind of consolidating within this range right now. I would say like 2010, 2013, somewhere around that area, holding that resistance and then also holding this higher low support. So now looking at the daily, now we start to get into this mess, right? We've been talking about a lot of these pushes from that 2010 level, right? Price holding that resistance, rejecting multiple times here. Price pushes down, breaks that support, right? And then ends up pulling back into the range, tapping into 2010 again, and closing bearish, holding a lower high. Then you get this lower high, lower low, bearish close, a weak bullish close, holding support. So now we're sitting in this area. And again, we're just ranging. Does this look appealing to trade in right now, at least on the daily? A little difficult, right?
No.
Yeah,
For
so
sure.
it's something that so far I don't really want to touch. Now looking at the 4 hour, the 4 hour looks like what happened was Precious was able to grab this bounce off this support. Right? So Precious played this bounce. We'll go back to his chart for a second. Okay, so you took this on the 15-minute in the middle of this range. So let's talk about that in a second. But again, you're getting a nice push every time we tap into this area. It's a good anticipation because you get these hard impulsive moves pushing up from these areas, right? And now you're getting the same exact thing. Not enough bearish pressure to close below this level to continue down. Looking at the 1 hour now, we keep getting these strong 1 hour candle closes from that support. Strong close, right? And a nice impulsive move coming up that way. Nice rejection, continue up a little bit. Nice rejection, continue up. Nice rejection, possibly continuing up. Right now, we're kind of holding this lower high over here. This price could very well end up giving us another lower high. Let me see. Take a look at this price action right here. You get these hard sell-offs from these areas here. Hard sell-offs. And now you're starting to hold this resistance right up top here. 2002, I would say. Price holding that resistance as well. But right now, this gave you that lower high, right? And then hard impulsive move. So what could we possibly get anywhere in here if we start to see some exhaustion? Another lower high, possibly continuing right back down. But again, don't discredit the fact that we have a hard demand zone from these areas over here that price could very well continue up. Based on the 1 hour alone, where would you say safe buys would be? Anybody could say it. Who's gonna win?
Above 19,400.
There you go, 1994. Absolutely. What's up, Carlos?
Yo, what's up? What's up? Good morning.
What's up, man? Okay. Now what you're starting to see is that previous support right here. You got a nice sell-off from that area. Once you got that closed and then that closed right below that support, clean move to the left. Could have gotten this sell right over here. What was that, Sunday? Sunday open over here on Thursday, somewhere around like 6:30, 7 o'clock. It's a nice move, right? It's still in this range, so you got to lower your risk, but it's a nice move, kind of mirroring these candles and continuing down to get this pullback, and then price continue down to 1977. But now what we're starting to see is price did end up rejecting that same level over here and giving us a bearish close. So again, I don't, this isn't something that's attractive to me for me to take a buy into. But once we close above this area, we're starting to change market structure a little bit, right? And you could very well maybe mirror this move over here to continue up based on the price action that you get right in this area. Now, looking at Precious's trade, looking at this previous support over here, played it off that. The only issue, Precious, I don't know if you hear me, but the only issue is the fact that you took it in the middle of this range right here, right? Like, it was a good trade in terms of like winning, but at the same time, like, it's hard for me, and I'm sure any other mentor or coach, whatever you want to call this, would say, is the fact that you don't want to reward bad habits. Right, like, you guys could send me a winning trade at any point that you're breaking your rules on, and what am I supposed to say to that? Now, again, I don't think it was a bad trade because you're playing this bounce off this area, but there was definitely a point where you could have grabbed this a little bit earlier. Do you see that yet, or would you like me to point it out?
Yes, I understand you. But I was considering this. I was considering this. I was considering this support, this resistance.
Oh, you were considering the resistance, you said?
The minor one, yes.
Okay.
So that was why I took it a little bit above the resistance.
Okay. What would a better entry and stop loss would have been here?
That if I take it at this point,
Okay. To your credit, you did ask me over the weekend, you wanted to go over entries during the live session, right? So one thing that you could do, like, I want you to re-journal this trade to see where you could have grabbed this a little bit better. Right here, 1981 was your previous support, right? And then became your new resistance right here. Right?
Yeah.
Price ended up bouncing off that level and continuing down to 1977, 1978, right? Then we got that strong bullish candle close, and you could have anticipated that based on history looking to the left, right? Got that strong close. I'm not taking a buy yet, right? Because we're still in a bearish trend. But one thing that I could have done here was enter right after that candle close because it's a strong breakout trade, right? And it's also capitalizing on a fake out. And again, also a demand zone that's pretty strong on the higher time frames. So you could have waited for that candle to close right above that area, stop loss right below this candle right there as well.
Okay, but
So
I was considering, sorry, I was considering this resistance. Is this not a resistance? This one over here. Can you see my mouse?
I can't see your mouse. Just what's the price that it was? Is it the 1981 or 1982?
No, just scroll it down.
What was that?
Like scroll the screen down.
Scroll the screen down.
I'm coming.
I
I have
think he's
some.
talking about this one.
Yeah, that's what I think he's talking about too, right? It's this one. Talking about this resistance.
Yes, yes, yes. I was
Okay.
waiting for price to close above it.
Okay, makes sense. The only thing is like you're buying in the middle of this range, right? At least right here, you could have taken this. I like it, but at the same time, I pretty much like the entry, but the stop loss could be better, right? Because at any point, price could tap into this range over here, create that lower high, and then continue right back down. But right over here, if your stop loss was right down here, you can at least manage if we're starting to reject anywhere in this area. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
There's always something that you can learn from every single trade right now. So I just wanted you to keep that in mind as you continue to your journey and look for better entries. But this would have been me personally. If I were to take this, trying to play the buy off that demand zone, enter right here, stop loss right here, and then take this thing up. And that would have been my main secure right there, especially if I'm taking that on the 15-minute.
Okay, sir.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So right now I want to bring you guys back to are you still in it, Precious?
No, I closed. I've
Okay.
closed it. I closed at 43.
So also what you would have been getting too is you would have waited for this 30-minute candle close, right? That would have been your key. You also have the bullish candle flip bullish over here and close bullish. And then you got that move going over there. Liquidity grab, strong bullish close, continues all the way up there. And then you got that close right there. So your main key, you're taking this based on the 30-minute, but then you could place your stop loss below the 15-minute right here. That would have been safe. I should have just done this. This would have been my entry. Make sense?
Yes, yes. It was just that minor resistance towards the left that delayed my entry.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's perfect now. Understand?
Awesome. So now I wanted to point out DJ to you guys. I just closed 50 over here as it passed the low of the previous candle right over here. I want a chance to journal this, but I don't want to be journaling while we're breaking down trades. But as we pass the low here, just closed 50%, being that it's the first of the month. 15-minute past the low of the previous 15-minute. I took this base on the 30-minute and the 1 hour, so I'm going to manage on the and now I'm just going to let this thing run. All right, especially because we're up at a strong resistance up here, strong supply zone, right? So this could very well not play out. It could just be a pullback, and then we hold the resistance, and then we continue down, hold that lower high, right? Like we could very well end up exhausting in here to continue down. So again, this is just a play that I'm looking to take over here. What I do think is happening, I just wanted to stick to my rules, is we could just be retracing and tapping into this level right here, holding support, and then continuing right back up. I think we're at least going to get a tap into this area, but we'll see. We'll see. We could get exhausted because we just started the London session, right, off pretty bearish. And this could just be a pullback where we come up anywhere into this area to continue right back down or consolidate. But I do think my main bias is continuing right back up. That's why I'm staying in this trade. But looking at gold, again, getting a nice bullish push right off this level over here and continuing up. I think safe buys are going to be above that level. Get off to US 30 over here. We had a very bullish move to finish off the month, to finish off last week. And the monthly candle did end up closing a very bullish candle, very strong body, just no top wick over here, right? So at some point, I think you may end up seeing them increasing rates, on Wednesday, and this thing could very well correct itself. But at the same time, knowing that this may be the last rate hike that they end up pushing through, we could very well end up getting, a tap into 34,400, maybe 600, somewhere up in this area right over here. You get a tap into there, The reason is, again, we're very bullish. You got that liquidity grab, bullish close, bottom wick form, past the high, strong body. I can see us at least tapping into here, holding this resistance, and then towards the end of the year, start to get that retracement, price continuing right back down. Looking at the weekly now, last week we ended up getting a liquidity grab and flipping bullish. Remember, we ended up getting one of our lower highs over here, right in that area, where we got that bearish candle close, ended up breaking the low right there, pushing all the way into 33,250, grabbing liquidity and closing bullish, a strong body right over here. So this is a big reason why I believe that we could very well continue up anywhere into here. Looking at the daily right now. Daily holding support right in here. That was that previous support that we pushed off of. We held the resistance. Remember, this candle ended up flipping bearish over here, and that was our key that we could very well push down anywhere into these areas. And now we got that pushback, and then what was this? Thursday. Thursday gave us a strong bullish candle close over here, bottom wick form past the high of the previous candle, and then you get that strong close above that area. But we're right now sitting in like a big consolidation over here, right? And now that we broke this level, you still have these wicks that we got to take a look at in the lower time frame. But you also have that resistance right over there to the left as well, right? That you got to be aware of. And all these rejections here to the left. But based on the fact that we got a strong candle here and a strong candle here, tells me that we could be continuing up. And again, the market may be pricing in the fact that we already increased our rates. You could have gotten that last week, or we're already going to be increasing our rates. This is that pullback last week. And now that it's already priced in, it's not really going to affect the market because everyone knows it's coming. And then we could get that optimism that they're no longer increasing rates the rest of the year. They won't be doing it in June. And then again, we could push into this area with short-term optimism. And then boom, we just continue right back down to finish off the year. So here's the 4 hour. Looks like we got a solid close right above that resistance right there. Created that high, pulled back, retest that high, barely. And now we're kind of consolidating around this area right here. See how we've like tapped into this previous resistance over here to the left? Now this I would just adjust. That's your previous resistance over there to the left. If you get a close above 34,150 over here, like a strong body close outside of that area, and we hold this support, I could see us continuing up to 34,350. Looking at the 1 hour, we're starting to reject that area pretty hard. Just gonna adjust that there. We're holding a resistance 34,120 over here, right? Price is starting to reject. I don't see any safe sells until we maybe break this area right here. We'll see on the 30-minute, but right now you got that clean move coming down. Look at this whole range over here that you could be capitalizing on. If we just fake this level out, get this resistance formed, close below here, get that whole move down, and then you could very well continue this back down into this support as well. Clean moves, right? So again, I don't want to take any buys, especially in this consolidation, until we end up breaking above this resistance over here, 34,150, I would say. Yeah, somewhere in that area. Because once we do, you do have a fairly clean move coming up, at least into like, I would say 330, 350, somewhere up here. But again, with us being as bullish over here, these are going to be safe sells. You get the 30-minute. I do like the price action as far as price continuing down right over here. You ended up getting that bullish or bearish candle close, top wick form, past low the previous candle. After this move right here, rejection of that resistance, strong bearish candle close, lower high form, top wick form, past low of the previous candle, and now could be continuing down. But you could get a fake out in any area of this area right there to possibly continue up. So I wouldn't be taking any sells right there. But there would be a possibility that if we could close below this area right here, we could very well continue right back down. Make sense? We just measure these ranges. About 50 points, not bad. I would say there's about like 30 in here. About 40 right there. You got about 50 right here. But these are going to be a lot cleaner to continue down over here. GJ is now continuing up. So that's US 30 right now. Getting that rejection of that resistance. Could be correcting a lot of this move over here. We'll see how the rest of the day goes. We do have ISM manufacturing PMI coming out of the US. So if that's any negative numbers, right? If we get anything bad coming out of there, you're going to get a further retracement. And I can see this wick getting filled at some point, right? But we need to close below this support right here. And it looks like we just may do so based on how strong this bearish candle is so far. But you need that close. You get the 1 hour. The 1 hour is about to close in the next 9 minutes. So we'll see how that thing ends up closing. Part of me like could see this right here. Not something I want to take a chance on a. Actually, maybe I don't know. We'll see. I may wait for manufacturing PMI to come out later on. But if we get a strong close below that level, I would have to see. Based on my back testing, typically you want your stop loss. So you could put it above here because it is the 1 hour resistance right there. But a lot of times I do see if we do get this close below with a wick to fill, the next candle will come up very close to that area, right? And create that top wick and then continue down. I've seen that multiple times, especially on GJ and gold. So that's why I like to put my stop loss above that resistance if I'm going to take this breakout counter trend trade, right? And if that's the case, and your entry, let's say, is right here, the risk to reward is going to be off. Now, if this is your target, that's another story, but you gotta take some piece off right here. You're in a very bullish trend right now. And this could just be a little correction. Does that make sense to everybody? When it comes to stop loss placement and counter trend, we've actually been taking this a lot during our backtesting sessions on the simulator. Taken this a couple times in the past couple sessions. So, and you know, every time we've done it, we've had a nice successful stop loss above that resistance, and plenty of room to manage risk. But there are some cases where you can place your stop loss above this area. And now looking at the 30-minute, that might be smart. I would actually put it right above 34,110, right over here. Just give it plenty of room because I don't want to get like faked out right over here and price comes up and then continues right back down. It's highly susceptible to that happening at US 30. So just be aware of that. Let's take a look at GJ again. Again, like I said, I thought price could just be coming into this area right here, which we could really mark off if we want. But you get that previous resistance, support, resistance right over here. Price could be tapping into that area right now. You look more so on the 30-minute, previous support over here, and that resistance, candle's just tapping into this area and continuing up. But again, the only reason I took 50 off was because the 15-minute did pass the low of the previous candle over here. Now there's opportunity maybe to take a re-entry right here. We'll see what we get on the 1 hour. Because what I do like is this liquidity grab, bullish flip and close, bottom wick form past the high, right? We should be continuing up. We should just be getting, especially if it closes like this, we should just be getting a bottom wick formed on the next candle, flip bullish and continue up. Make sense? All right. So we broke down GJ, we broke down gold, we broke down US 30. I'll give you guys the option. What would you like me to break down, or would somebody like to volunteer and break down the chart? Come on, guys, we're a team. I don't bite.
I can volunteer.
There you go. All right, Serge, what would you like to break down for us?
I don't know, anything.
What are you comfortable with that you feel like you can just rattle out?
Well, basically they all the same, you just look support resistance, so
That
to
doesn't
break
matter,
down
right?
is not that hard, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't see I feel like your area of expertise that we're going to improve on is just the patience and knowing what trades to enter. But I think breaking down charts, you're pretty good with it, and you're very quick with it too. So all right, let's take a look at Euro JPY.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna erase this. I'm gonna get us started on the monthly. I have to use the bathroom really quick, and then we're gonna there we go. A nice clean chart, it looks like. So mark off your levels. I'll draw them as soon as I get back, and then we'll get started, okay?
Okay.
All right, what's up, gentlemen? All right, nice and simple, right? Just gonna keep this thing a little bit thinner over here. You got that resistance, you got that previous support. Looking to target this previous support as well. Good job so far, Serge. Got your resistance up here. I like it. Can you move to the left over there once you break above that area? And then we have our support right over here. Great job. Okay, I'm just gonna check on GJ real quick with you guys for a second, and then we're gonna get okay. Not my not the same liquidity provider. Just want to see. Okay, the 1 hour did end up closing bullish. We're holding a solid support over here. Nice wick to fill. Only problem is this candle is pushing up without a bottom wick. So at some point, it may end up creating that bottom wick unless this thing passes the high right away and just continues up. That'd be great. But I've already managed risk, so I'm okay with this thing. I'm not gonna, nothing to sweat out here. Okay. Serge, good job, buddy. Would you like me to zoom in or out?
What is weekly now? Yeah, out.
This is
Yeah.
the weekly. Zoom out.
Yeah.
Readjustments.
This one we need a bit higher. This one as well.
Okay. I like it. Nice.
Yeah, this one okay.
Right there.
No, I think it's okay. It was in the weather just weak,
Okay.
a bit lower.
That's good. Where you want it?
I think it's only the week, you know. I think it's gonna be better.
Right here.
Yeah, and make it a bit wider.
Okay. I may actually end up be closing. Ah. I'm just taking a look at GJ 1 second, Serge. If we
Okay.
start to break below the support here and the 15-minute ends up flipping bearish, I might just close the full thing. Because we're failing to break above 171,400, which is what I was looking for. It's not following the plan, but it is still holding support at 300 right now. So I'm just monitoring it. Let's see. So you have that resistance right here. Oh. Okay.
Can you zoom on that this last bit here where the price?
To the left or right?
No, here. Can you see my
I can't see your mouse.
just here in this area?
Okay. All right. Time. Let's look at the current price action.
Okay. Yeah, seems like. Yeah, this one seems okay.
Okay. Looking at the daily now. Okay. You want me to move this down?
Yeah.
Okay. And you got this support down here.
Could stop here as well, but it's like it's a clean candle on the left, but on the right, but
Yeah, I can see why you would mark that off. Here, you get that previous wick as well. So you could throw a little something thin right there, right? That makes sense. So we just got to see what's going on here. That's 150. It's a psychological level. I may just thin that out. Make sense?
yeah. Can we go on the left to see what's going on the left?
Sure.
Yeah, this one is good. It's a good level.
Okay. Yep. I like it too. I was gonna say was like there's multiple different opportunities and different things that could be happening here. Right? Like at any point, we could be finding some kind of a resistance at some point. Could pull back here, could pull back down into here, could even come back down into this support and hold that support for quite a bit and then continue right back up. So multiple things could be happening right there for you. Trying to analyze GJ right now. I'm gonna focus on risk management with this thing, but I don't want to micromanage it. Okay, 4 hour. Now you're starting to see some kind of a support form, but right up there. 150, 500.
Here we have resistance and support.
Serge, are you still in that trade from last week?
Yeah, because I didn't have a chance to get out in
Okay. All right. 1 hour?
this one goes a bit higher.
Good shit, man. You're on point with this. So you're just creating higher lows, right? Higher highs. You break above that level, you still got that clean move coming up. Let's actually see what the move looks like to the left over here. It's not loading.
Is it easier to scroll when you scroll at the bottom, like, or not to get quicker to where you are?
I think that's the farthest you could go. Wonder why. It's just not loading. Goes back to January 3rd. So it goes back to the beginning of the year on the 4 hour. That's stupid.
On 1 hour, on 4 hour.
On the 4 hour.
Let me have a
Okay,
look
for
on
the
mine.
premium.
If it
Why
actually
are
goes.
they? I
I'm
think
gonna
that,
have a look as well if it goes that
yeah,
far.
let me know if it does. Getting a little greedy over there at Trading View.
So where is your chart stop then?
So what was that?
What date your chart has stopped?
It looks like the 1st of January.
Yeah, I don't see anything at all.
Weird.
Looks like they only give you like higher time frames, but not lower ones.
They never used to do that. I think that, you know, they just want you to get a higher package. Oh, there we go, GJ. So, you know, with this being said, I mean, what would you say would have been a nice trade over here? So you could have capitalized on, you know, any kind of moves over here.
This one is okay.
Okay, where would your entry be? Stop loss?
Stop loss here. Entry when it's past here.
Beautiful. So you'd wait for the bottom wick?
Yeah.
Precious, you watching this?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Here's a good example of an entry right here. Strong bullish candle close, no top wick. So this is where I would be waiting for the next candle to create its bottom wick and pass the high. Serge, I would actually just put my stop loss right below that 30-minute. That'd be safe. And you can argue you could put it below that candle as well, but you know it's better to put it below the previous 30-minute. And then you would have gotten the 1-to-1. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's a nice little move. Fairly clean move to the left. Range over here is around 45 pips, 50 pips. So your target is 30 pips over here. Almost a 2-to-1 ratio. 16 pip stop loss. So that's not bad. Right? Should retest that high right there. All right, good job, Serge. All right, so I'll do another one myself. We'll go to USD JPY. I know a lot of you guys have been breaking this one down and volunteering for it. Before we do, though, this monthly actually looks a little like GJ right now. Before we do, we're just going to go up to GJ real quick, see where we're at. We're holding this support over here. Since I already closed 50%, I did not want to micromanage this thing. And we're now holding that support. So you're getting that volume push like we actually talk about a lot, right? I always say like 810, 812, you normally get a nice push. As of late, it's been coming around like 830. But right now, what I was waiting for was this is how I was using the lower time frames, right? What I was seeing here was the fact that we ended up, getting a nice liquidity grab, continuing up over here, creating that high, and then pulling back. You got the bearish candle close right over there. I ended up closing 50% right there, and that was it. So that was the first time I closed 50%. Then this candle passed the high, flipped bearish, and closed bearish. I didn't close anything there. And now this candle, what I was looking for was it had the top wick, respecting the high of the previous candle. If that thing started passing the low of these candles right over here and flipping bearish, which then if you look at the 5 minute and the 1 minute, if it started closing below this support right here, I could have just closed the full thing, but it didn't, right? We were just grabbing liquidity right there and then continuing up. You look at the 1 minute, the 1 minute is still holding this whole support right in this area. And I was looking for, well, this is exactly what I was looking for, but to manage risk, if we started closing below this area and holding that area as a resistance, that's where you could start to manage risk, right? But I've been caught trying to manage risk and micromanaging where before closing below this area, just because we're getting these lower highs over here, I've been caught managing risk a little bit too early, and then you get something like this, right? So learning from those mistakes, now I'm starting to be a little bit more patient with this, especially because I've already managed risk before. Now I'm starting to let this thing just run. But if we did close below that area, I would be taking a piece off. Make sense?
Yeah.
I heard a quote the other day that contrary to what you guys have been taught in school, contrary to what I've been taught in school and all of us, they always say, like, how to define an intelligent person. And one person said this, and he said, you define an intelligent person. Wait, no, I actually have the quote. I wrote it down over here. Let me see. Intelligence definition is the rate of learning, right? So someone who learns slowly is less intelligent than someone who learns quicker, right? So if you change your behavior quickly, you're intelligent. If you don't, you're less intelligent. Doesn't mean you're not intelligent, but you're less intelligent than somebody that learns on a quicker basis. That's a little bit contrary to what we've probably been taught in school. Now, it doesn't mean you're a very smart person just because you learn quickly, right? You could still be I don't know, maybe not book smart or something like that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because in the real world, the only thing that matters is how quickly you learn from your mistakes. It's not so much how well you're able to do a math equation or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, this is just one person's opinion. It's actually Alex Hormozy. This is who this came from, and it just resonated with me. It's like, it does make sense in the real world, in the business world, entrepreneur world, trading world. You're only as good as how well you learn from your mistakes, because you guys need to take chances in the market. You need to be able to capitalize on your mistakes, learn from them, and move on and take the better move the next time. All right. So that just resonated with me. But GJ right now is pushing up. Again, this is really based on the 1 hour. This liquidity grab right here, beautiful. Flip bullish. It's not like it closed a weak bearish, like holding this resistance still, because a lot of times we end up getting some exhaustion here and then continuing down to fill that wick. But right now, this candle flip bullish, bottom wick form, pass out of the previous candle. That's where the entry was. So actually, I waited for a pass of the previous candles to the left over here too. And stop loss right below this wick. Right? Clean move to the left over here and continuing up. It's probably not something that Serge wants to see right now. Sorry, brother. All right. So let's go over to USD JPY. And looking at the monthly right now, we are sitting right near. We're just gonna more so gonna mark off the most recent resistance right over here, right, and then the most recent support. So easy. So we created that high. Bank of Japan started interfering once we reached 150. They said they would, and they ended up doing so. And then we got the short-term weakness on the US dollar over here, right? Where did this come from? Anyone know?
Fed pivot, no?
What was that?
Talking about Fed pivot.
Good pivot. Wow, look at TJ. Love this. All right, so we're sitting at 1-to-1. I'm gonna close 80% here. And again, I already closed 50%, so it's not like I'm making much, but I definitely didn't lose anything. Because I think I barely lost anything on the managing, because it was only when it passed the low of the previous 15-minute. So it was basically like a break even. Group one. Okay. All right, so now looking at the monthly candle here on USD JPY, we've been holding that short-term, support on the dollar, but we've got a stronger dollar over here, higher low as well, strong bullish close, but still below this resistance right over here. Right now, this candle, bottom wick forming, passing the high. Are we going to be able to break through that area and then end up retesting that high over there? Depends, because the Fed is pretty much done increasing rates for the rest of the year. So we could very well end up rejecting this resistance and consolidating a little bit, or maybe even continuing down. But don't forget, the Bank of Japan also has a very weak monetary policy. They're in negative interest rates. So looking at the weekly now, you get this whole area right here. You want to be aware of. But we're getting the higher low formed here. Beautiful. Higher low. Price creating higher lows, higher highs. Strong bullish candle close last week. Small bottom wick. Passing the high of the previous candle right now. And also continuing up. So we ended up cracking through this area right here. Got that previous resistance, current resistance as well. Strong close right over here. Bottom wick forming, passing the high. This thing could very well end up continuing up over here. So are we going to get any kind of pullback on the lower time frame? Is it forming a higher low? Now you're starting to see it here on the 4-hour. See this little pullback? This thing's flipping bullish right here. First action to the left. Getting some kind of a resistance formed right there at 137. Price tapping into. You look at the 1 hour. There you go. Higher lows being formed here. Higher lows being formed, higher created, small range, right? Like it only pulled back into here, so it's difficult to retest that high with this price action. But based on the candles, we did create that high with a strong impulsive move over here. Now we pull back to this area and you get a candle like that with a wick to fill. It's very nice. The only thing is, are we going to be able to continue up here? I think, it's not worth taking that buy. It's kind of like, what Precious did in the middle of that range on gold right over here, taking that buy right here. The range is not big enough. The range isn't big enough right there. So it's much better to wait for the close above that area. Also a previous resistance to the left over here. So that you could take price right back up into here. You have this little resistance right there that you got to be aware of. But if you do close above 137, I think you'll at least come into there. Because again, back on the higher time frames, if you remember. Based on this price action right here, and then this price action right here, we should be coming up into this area with this current daily candle just pushing up. Could be a rejection, but doesn't look like it. Who Carlos, do you trade USD or no? Or is this just something you always break down?
Yeah, it's just something I just break down. I started off trading it,
I
but
remember.
yeah, I let it go now.
I used to trade this as well. I used to trade this and EJ. And I dropped them both for GJ and gold. I dropped them both when I started moving more towards gold. All right. Young, how's it feel to be off? Too bad it's a bank holiday and it makes the markets a little bit slower.
So, were you speaking to me?
Yes, I am.
You asked, what was the question? Sure, I missed it.
I was saying, how does it feel to be off? Finally.
Oh, every time it's a bank holiday or something, I feel so relaxed.
Oh,
I've
I
never been this relaxed for a long time because there's always constant pressure. I always have to be alert of some emails, some stuff coming through, some problems. No, it's very good, very good.
Awesome, man. Good stuff. Let's see. No, go back to GJ for a sec. I'll monitor this. We're actually getting good volume on GJ to start the week, even with the bank holiday here.
Gold too. Gold's getting some spots.
Gold's moving. Woo, look at that. Stay buys above this area. So what you're looking for is, again, you always got to be a little skeptical of this move over here. Because again, look at the last time we really bounced off that area with a strong candle. We ended up getting a hard pullback. Then you got a nice support formed right there. And you retested that high. So at some point, you got to be a little skeptical of this, not buying up here. That's a big no-no. Wait for the pullback here, continue up. Pullback here, continue up. This is where patience comes in. And you're just planning your trade. You're planning your setup. And that's what most of trading is. It's not so much like actually being in a trade and taking a trade. Majority of it, I'd say 80% of it, is really just planning things out and just sitting there praying, almost like a lion or something. All right, so I'm going to journal this trade on GJ. Yes. Quinn, what'd you do today over there?
Today I just went out and tried a couple of different foods that were out here.
You find anything particular that you liked?
I think all the variations of like different broths with noodles in it are pretty good. So every time I get like a new one that's slightly different, but still pretty similar and very good. But yeah, I've had some chicken too with a nice sauce. Like spicy. I like spicy. That was nice.
Nice.
But no, yeah, yesterday I got like a massage at a resort. That was a cool day.
What are massages going for over there?
It was like for $30 or something for like more than an hour.
Wow, that's awesome.
So yeah,
over here it's like at least like 80 or something. Then if you go to a spa and stuff, like I don't know what we paid, like 500.
Yeah, it was a spa. It wasn't a spa, so I had like sauna, Turkish bath. I had like access to the pool, and then so I went and got the massage. So I was like all body massaged and face like stuff to put some cream on my face and massage my face. And
Nice.
yeah, that was it for like 30, maybe 35.
That's nothing, dude.
Yeah.
Pocket change. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then if you tip them like, I don't know, $20, so that would be a nice ending.
I didn't do that.
Not that that's what you're going for. I'm just saying, like, they'd be very happy with whatever your typically normal tipping would be.
Yeah.
They'd be inclined to give you an ending. All right. Yeah, me and my wife typically we like to do a cheat meal on the weekend, and not that it was much of a cheat meal, but we made she actually made a really good ramen.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Oh, she,
god, it was so good.
oh, she does.
I went out and bought
That's amazing. I've never tried to make ramen, but I actually love it.
um yeah, no, I went out and got like 2.5 pounds of stew meat,
Oh,
and
nice.
what did she make? Just like onions, stuff like that, and put it in the slow cooker for like 6 hours. Went to the gym, came back, and it was like ready for us. It takes like 3 minutes to make the noodles. It was banging.
Wow.
Couldn't figure out what we wanted as a cheat meal this weekend. It was her idea, and I was like, oh, absolutely, because she's made it before. I love ramen.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Have you had like all these different types of ramen now?
No, I gotta go to. I mean, no, the best ramen I've had was like either in Paris or like actually, yeah, I've had a very good one in Dijon once. But yeah, in Paris you have like one street where you have like all the ramen restaurants, and they're pretty good. But otherwise, you gotta go to Japan to get the real ones.
Go to Japan? I was actually just gonna ask you, like, now that you're spending so much time in Vietnam, are you starting to really enjoy their culture? Maybe compared to Japanese culture since you haven't been over there yet, or
No, honestly, like I'm not enjoying like Vietnam as much as I think I would.
okay.
Like the raw Vietnam, like it's very like it's 100% third world country, like very underdeveloped, and so I find the country to be not as not as beautiful as I thought it would be, and like and I think it is also because they haven't had rain in a long time, and so everything is burnt, like all nature and all the like plants and stuff, everything is burnt. Rice fields, they don't have rice at the moment. It's fucked up because of the heat, the sun. They haven't had
The sun
uh
burns it?
yeah, yeah, if it doesn't rain, it fucks up everything. And so
Wow.
and you have like a lot of you had garbage kind of everywhere around, like even in the countryside and stuff. So I've been quite disappointed about that, and so I kind of changed my plans, and so right now I'm thinking about like shortening my trip in Vietnam and using my time just to to get like the fancy stuff that's cheap here
And then go into
and
Cyprus?
going to Cyprus. No, I think yeah, working and traveling at the same time um is maybe a little bit harder than I thought. And right now I really want to get back to serious work. So I'm thinking about coming back to Paris like a little sooner than I initially thought. So maybe in like a couple of 3 weeks I might be back.
Wow. Yeah, that's I was actually just gonna ask you that. Like that's an interesting topic that we'll probably get more deep into on our Zoom today. But that's interesting. So you find that traveling and trading, the whole laptop lifestyle, is maybe gets old a little bit? Do you feel like it's more so lonely? Do you think that plays a part?
I think I would have to. Like, I would
Maybe it's
have to
just
spend
Vietnam.
more money to do that properly. And so I think that's what I'm gonna do for like 2 weeks. But like I don't want to do that for a month or two. Like I wanted to do initially. I thought I could like, because I enjoy more the being in the like really the typical local stuff and experiencing like something that's very different than what you can experience in Europe. And but doing that and trading at the same times, being like, I had booked actually a week at a local's house, and I thought I would be able to like do some local stuff and like take the time to work. But I went there, and there's no air conditioned, and it's 35 degrees. You sweat like hell all the time.
Oh, you already did this.
Yeah, I did this. I was there for 1 day, but I didn't like the guy, the dude that owned the place, and
Yeah.
like the thing that triggered my immediate leave almost was he took me to a restaurant. He ordered. I said I wanted beef. He ordered something that had beef in it, but without asking me like if I was okay with it. He ordered for the both of us, and at the end of the meal, I paid for the both of us, and he like didn't, like.
What the hell?
So I was,
That's funny.
yeah. I mean, I wasn't pissed or anything. Like it was like,
It's just like,
and,
oh, okay.
and it was very expensive for what it was. It was nothing. Like it was like I paid $10 for the for both of us, but typically for that thing, I would have normally paid like maybe $4 for the both of us, and I paid 10. So it was very expensive. So I'm even wondering, does he know those guys and told them to make me pay more or whatever? So I didn't like the guy. I slept there one night. I got stung by like 100 mosquitoes during the night.
Oh, the worst. That sucks.
I woke up at 6, took a shower, and took my bike and left.
Oh my god.
So
Damn. Sorry to hear
I
that.
came here to make up for it. I came here into like an hour. It was an hour away from where I was, and I
Mhm.
booked a night in a 4-star hotel to make up for it.
There you go. There you
So yeah,
go.
I think I'm just gonna book like some nice places that are much cheaper than you would get everywhere else, and be able to put in like more work,
Yeah.
uh, and then I'll be coming back to Paris. Man, gold is pushing.
Is it?
Yeah,
Could be
it's at
start of the month
2,000.
right now. Support held. I just wanna here. Let me put this over here so we could look at that too. So you could buy some lemon eucalyptus oil to avoid this. Dude, Lim knows everything over there. That's awesome that you guys met up. He gave you the whole little
Yeah.
tour.
Yeah, I mean, I think in Asian countries, you will definitely get mosquitoes everywhere.
Is it anything that you have to worry about, like maybe like African mosquitoes? I know they got like West Nile stuff like that that you may have to worry about.
No, we don't really, we're not really very concerned about those. But I think recently we did have like quite a nasty case, like a lot of cases of dengue fever, right in Singapore.
Oh, okay. Where did I answer this? I did this around 7:10. Okay. So Quinn, do you think that like it kind of motivates you now?
Bro, gold is pushing, bro.
Is it really? Damn, you guys are raving about it. I gotta go over and look at it, I guess. Woo! Look at that. Getting some getting that lower high formed on the dollar over here too. But again, like it didn't really give you an entry, did it? right? You'd
No.
be taking it in the middle of this range. Like these are the
Yeah,
trades
no.
that you can't get FOMO over. You need to sit back, wait for your setups, and that's it. Right? If gold pushes, this isn't just coming from me. This is coming from every successful trader I pretty much can promise that you'll find on YouTube. That they will say, gold can push 100 pips, and I will not care. I just want to sit back and watch my trade play out, or wait for my setups, and that's it. That's all I'm taking. Now it's frustrating when it pushes like this without giving you an entry, but you shouldn't get FOMO over it. Does that make sense? There's a difference. Like, I think it'd be naive of me to say this isn't frustrating, to be like, damn, like gold moves up, I don't give a shit. It's like, no, I wish it gave me an entry, but I'm not going to sit here and act on that FOMO. I'm not going to get FOMO over it. I would get FOMO over something that gave me an entry and I didn't take it, and then it pushed like that. Those are the ones you could get FOMO over, but still do not act on it. The only way that you act on that is by journaling the trade and learning from it. So you just wait for the pullback here. And it should give you something. I'm sure, before or after ISM manufacturing PMI, it'll give you a little pullback, but it is pushing right now. Let's see this. But Quinn, what I was asking you was, do you feel like this gives you a little bit more motivation to like get to work when it comes to like trading, and then do this with more money? And like where you could go to, even nicer places and do even cooler things? Or does it open up your mind to the fact that like you are somebody that likes to work? So before you answer that, Quinn, real quick, I'll give you I was actually explaining this to my wife, where I'm the type of person that I love going on vacation. I love traveling. It's one of my favorite things to do. But towards like, I can only be on vacation for so long. This is just me personally. Towards the end of that vacation, especially if it's a long one, if I'm sitting on the beach every day, or we're not doing much, we're just kind of relaxing, I'm the type of person that I need to come back. Like I need to get to work. Like I can't just lay on the beach. I can't just, dilly dally, I can only do that for so long, or I could only sightsee for so long. But I love doing it. I love sightseeing. I love history. I love seeing different parts of the world. But I can't do it for that long. I personally need to. It makes me want to come back and get to work and make more money and all that stuff.
For me, I guess like relaxing, I can't do that for long either. Like not for long at all. Like yesterday I did that, so just getting a massage and then staying by the pool in the sun. It was nice while I was doing it, but afterwards I was like, this experience didn't bring me nothing. Like I'm not very happy I did that.
Not
But
very,
on the other
sorry,
hand,
not very happy you did what?
I did like the relaxing, like a full day of relaxing.
I mean,
Relaxation.
don't be too hard on yourself with that.
No, I'm not being hard. It's
No.
just like I'm not hitting myself for having chosen that to do that. I'm just like feeling just like I'm just listening to what my brain tells me, and it's just telling me I haven't gotten much from that day. Like if I look back and I say, okay, what are the experiences in my life that I'm happy I've had, and this day is not going to be part of it,
Okay.
So once that is done, it's like, okay, I spent a good time, so while I was doing it, it was nice, but now that it's done, I don't have a good memory to justify that time spent. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Do you feel like you didn't earn it?
No, it's not that. It's just I don't
You
value
feel like you wasted time?
a little bit. I don't have something. once it's done, I don't have something in myself that is the result of that. Something good in myself that is the result of that. A memory, like I don't know, something I have learned, something that, you know,
Yeah.
so
You didn't gain
an
much from
outcome
it, you're
from
saying.
that thing. I didn't gain anything from that. I
Okay.
just use the time to relax. Maybe it's gonna help me get more in the days that follow that because I'm more relaxed. So maybe I'm gonna be able to then. So that's for sure. Like that could be possible. So when you need it, 100%, because that is what is gonna help you get good outcomes from the days that follow. But so that's one. Like relaxing, I don't love it that much. It's cool from time to time. I can't really, like, if I relax for more than a day, I don't feel very good. On the other hand, visiting, sightseeing, like experiencing things that I have never experienced in my life, I think I can do it for a long time because I'm getting something new every time. So what I was doing in Europe, the trip in Europe, and even when I first came here, trying some new foods, seeing some stuff like cities that I have never seen. Like I have never been in a city that works the way the big city here works. Like the way they operate, like nobody walks, everybody takes a scooter. Like I never thought I would see a city like that. Like they really don't walk. I was talking to the guy I bought the bike from. He's from Thailand, and he was telling me, look at their calves. They don't have calves because they don't walk. Even if they want to go 100 meters away, they're gonna take the scooter. He told me he took one of his friends from Vietnam to Thailand, and they walked for 5 minutes, and the guy was tired. He said, like, wait a minute, I'm just I have to rest for a bit, because they walked 5 minutes, because nobody walks over here. And it's like so many things that are crazy. And so seeing all those things for the first time is just putting things in my brain that, so I have something from that experience, so I can do that for a very long time. So that's one thing. But my goals to succeed in my endeavors are still there. So I know that as long as I'm not focused on that, it's not going to happen. And so those are more important. So I don't want to keep visiting and doing all those things, even though I like doing it. And once it's done, I have something in myself, in my being, that justify the time spent.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna go over so much more, during the Zoom today. But now that I'm thinking about it, like, when you first came to me about this, about because I hear it all the time in our generation, especially with Americans. Like, you always hear. My cousin kind of did it too, where he went to Prague for 4 years, and after school as a foreign exchange, and then he ended up staying over there for a while. And just our generation of people, um, the whole thing is always like going to travel to find yourself. And I understood it to a certain degree, but I also like what are you really finding, And one thing that I'm learning from your trip specifically, not so much other people that I know, but more so you, is I understand why you're doing it. And I think that's probably one of the best things that you could have gotten from this, other than the culture, meeting new people, eating new foods, understanding how the way the world works in different countries. I think that's probably the best thing that you could have done, is going over there, especially with one of the reasons you told me why you were going over there. To find that, like, your true purpose and what you enjoy doing is working and getting the most out of yourself, going to the gym, and having a purpose every single day.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, I cannot stop. I won't stop doing that. Like if I don't work for many days, like even like throughout all my trip, even though I didn't put in like the work that makes you really improve, which is like really like this the studying, being
Mhm.
like not on the live markets, I was still like looking at the live markets and reviewing some strays here and there. And if I didn't do that for more than a couple days, I wasn't feeling so good, and so I was taking the time off to go back. And even with training, I know I don't function good if I don't train. I was walking a lot on most of days in Europe, so I was pretty much okay if I didn't like exercise for 3 days or so.
Yeah.
I was trying to run from time to time and all that. I know those things are more important to me than anything else. So these are I'll definitely keep doing it, and I need those, and those are more important to me than the rest.
Yeah, that's one thing I was gonna say. I would say for the our Zoom, but like the working out aspect, the fact that you're not doing it right now, that could be weighing on you a little bit. But I like what Keyoung said too. Like take all this in at the same time. I know you want to get back to work and all that stuff, but you know you did this, and you may not like Vietnam as much as you thought you would, but you know you still have some time before you go back to Paris, and you
Yeah.
can enjoy, you know, maybe one more country or something like that. Highly recommend you stop back in Cyprus, but that's up to you.
Yeah, and I don't think that's gonna be possible because
That's all good.
you know
I'm just fucking around with you.
it's,
But you know, enjoy this. Take it all in. Be present. That's probably the
yeah,
best advice you could get. And
yeah, I think it
Young
is.
said it himself. So, and you know, it seems like Young's done this before. Young, you traveled for a few months.
Yeah, after my university, I had a good friend of mine. He was Italian, so I spent group of us went to Italy, like tour around Italy for about a month.
I think I remember you telling me this.
Yeah, then we've done many trips around Europe as well. But over the years, I've done many trips across Europe, different some parts of America as well. But for me, I think it is I can never enjoy too much because when you have work, I always have work. I'm working, so I'm
Hmm.
always thinking about enjoying myself too much. And maybe normally I go for maybe a week or 2 week and a half max, and then maybe this after the first 5 days, I see all the new experience food. I settled in. I knew how to use the transport, know where everything is. And that's when the time I'm thinking, oh, now I need to go back to work. I mean, it's not that I don't enjoy my work, but obviously it's a lot more enjoyable being out with your friends, enjoying stuff, exploring the world, and learning new stuff. I mean, like not all my trips are good. I mean, one of them I went to Romania and nothing was good there except for the food. I saw lots of crime there, people trying to scam me, but for me it was just for life experiences. Something you go there, see what it's like in that culture, how people live there, and understand a bit more. So I don't know. So Quinton, I think it's just go there and just whilst you're there, just learn to embrace it, and you won't see that stuff in Paris. So just go there and just
Yeah, no, for
take
sure.
it in.
But what's actually bothering me a lot is people don't speak English,
Mm.
and that makes everything so much harder. So you can't talk to them and ask them what's good, you know? They don't understand, and even when they do speak English, they speak with like a fucking thick accent. You don't understand what they say. So that's a big barrier here.
I think you know, everyone's wired differently. This is just the last thing I wanted to say. I think everyone's wired differently. Like for us, especially like you guys in this group, like you guys are all kind of think pretty much the same way I do. It's like you can only do this for so long until you want to get back to work. Because you guys are entrepreneurs, you guys want to make the most out of your life, and work is a pleasure, right? Like you get dopamine from working, and that's exactly where you want to get your dopamine from. You don't want to get it from social media, relaxing and doing all these things, and some of those bad habits that some people may have. So or video games, all that stuff, wasting time. You want to get that dopamine from working and completing tasks and checking things off your daily must list. But even though I think certain people are like that, like the group that we're in, and then there's certain people that are a little bit more lazy and don't want to do that. I still think those people in that lazy department will be much happier once they have a purpose and they're actually striving for something. They just don't have the right voices in their head They don't have the right people telling them what to do, guiding them in the right direction. They don't know what it feels like to get the dopamine from getting the work done. And you know, everyone would benefit from working out. Everybody would benefit from you know, getting a task done that they know they need to get done instead of wanting to get done, you know. So yeah, it's just like the whole retirement theory, right? Once you retire, that you slowly die after that because you no longer have a purpose. You're no longer working towards something, and you're starting to feel that a little bit. Maybe not if you were in a different country than Vietnam. Like maybe if you were really enjoying Vietnam a lot more, it would be a little bit different. But I still feel like you would maybe get that feeling, knowing that like, okay, I don't have my momentum. It's slowly going down inch by inch every single day. And I'm starting to lose my fulfillment, my purpose, and the things that make me happy. And that's I'm in a way it's good that you're seeing that, because now when you get home, you get a whole new perspective on what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, because that was one of the things that you were struggling to figure out before you left.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and
I'm glad you're
also,
starting to find it.
yeah, also I knew that going onto this trip, I was not gonna optimize many of the details. I was gonna try to do certain things in like suboptimal way, like with sleeping, diet, exercise. I don't know, everything you can think of. I knew that was not gonna be. I was gonna do it wrong, and because like for the past 2 years, I have been paying attention to all those things and trying to get them right. So I knew I was gonna go on this trip and not get those rights, and so I wanted to see what affects me most and what doesn't, and yeah.
Okay. I think also like this is the last thing I'll say and then we'll hop off, but the embrace the fact that this is going on in Vietnam now. You know, like Vietnam opened your mind up a little bit more or sped that thought
Yeah.
process up to the fact that you know, this is actually what you enjoy doing, is getting work
I
done.
actually have zero regret in coming here.
You know,
Like,
I didn't say you
zero.
did. I don't think you did. It's just you may be a little bit more disappointed than what you expected Vietnam to be. But like everything happens for a reason, and just embracing that, and that's kind of what you opened up to. I think that's valuable to see, and it's
Yeah,
like
no, and I think there are like cool stuff that I can experience, but I have to look them up in Europe. Like I really went and like looked nothing up, and I found, because I met people who could speak English, I was able to experience all the good things that there was to offer. Those countries had to offer. But right here, I am going to look up what's good, and I think I can experience some nice stuff. I am kind of down and disappointed because of the experience of like I realized because I bought the bike with the idea of going all the way up in the city in the north. I was in the south. I'm in the south. But I had a visa for 1 month, and I wanted to pass the border in the middle of the country, get another visa, and come back and finish my trip. And that is completely impossible. One, because there's no border that you can pass in the middle of the country. Either it's all the way up north or all the way down south. So that's impossible. And second, you have to drive very slowly here. There's a ton of wind on the roads. The roads are very not pleasant to drive on. And it's very, very, very dangerous, the highway. 30,000 people die every year on the highway here.
what's the population of the country? Do you know?
No, I don't know, but I know it's a fucking dangerous highway, so I'm not gonna take that road again. And so it would take me up 70 plus hours to drive up to the
70 hours?
70 hours. You drive here on the highway. I was on the highway for 3 hours the other day. You drive at like 60 kilometers an hour, so that would be like maybe, I don't know, 40 35 miles an hour, and you feel like you're driving 90.
You would be a lobster.
And you have
You've
to
been on the road
drive
that
so
long with
slow.
your helmet on?
yeah, you have to drive very slow. So yeah, no, my whole trip, like my whole plans got crushed on the other day when I was going down, and I arrived at that dude's place, and I was like, it was not cool. So I was kind of feeling down for all those reasons, and I have to go back and resell the bike, right? Like now, so
Maybe you make a profit. Use those profits to go someplace else real quick before you go to Paris.
yeah.
Are you thinking about going to? How many trips was this? Are you thinking about going back to a European country on the way back?
No, I don't think so. Either I go in a place like in Asia for a couple
Okay.
weeks before I go back,
Go to
or I go
Japan, man.
straight back. I've seen that actually the cheapest flight from here to like close to France is to London. So I might pass by London for a couple days.
Heathrow,
Heathrow.
Heathrow, the airport.
Oh yeah.
Is that where you would fly into? Your flight?
I guess so. I didn't even look that, but I'll see. I'll see. I have to really look up all the options I have. I just know where I'm at for this week until Saturday, and then I don't know what I do.
Okay. YouTube, Kate and Nate. Oh, no, Carrot and Nate. Kate. Mix their names up. From memory, they had a travel video in Vietnam. I followed a few of their videos for my travel. Oh, nice. Dude, YouTube is one of the best things that we could have in our generation.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a big distraction if you're using it the wrong way, but you could learn everything that you need to on YouTube. That's what I
Yeah, I
use it
was
for.
actually trying to watch some vlogs of Vietnam and this area to see if there are cool stuff that I can do before I leave.
I mean, continue making your own vlog. I mean, you could also improve on what you made because that was awesome.
It's really for myself and friends. I don't want to put that out,
Okay.
but yeah.
I think people would enjoy it. You get some nice views on that thing. Throw it on your Instagram or something.
Yeah, no, I'm not interested in posting stuff.
Okay. It's up to you, man.
But
All right, guys. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, yeah, I was just gonna say, I've been taking less videos, but I'll try to do something cool for Vietnam if I have the time, but just for myself, just so I can watch that again in 10 years.
Yeah, 100%. And then you could go back and, if you want, and compare it, all that stuff.
And show it to my grandchildren one day.
Oh, yeah.
See your grandfather, what he was doing when he was young.
Oh, yeah. It's a great thing to have, man.
Yeah.
But,
Hey, Quentin,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing your journey.
Oh man, appreciate it. I appreciate you like the video.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was badass, man. Keep doing your thing.
Thank you, man.
Awesome. All right, guys. I'm gonna hop off here.
What time did we say?
9:40.
All right.
So in 40 minutes.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
All right,
This
guys.
night-
Have
All
a
right, guys,
great
that's-
day. Remember, sense of urgency. Let's go over our reminders over here again. Think longevity, think efficiency, think long term. Think about your system. Think about what you guys want to be doing over the course of the week, over the course of the month, over the course of the year, and how you want to stack trades, stack good decisions instead of just thinking about today and trying to make money today. That's not where you guys want to be mentally in this market. So focus on that. Focus on your system. Focus on smart decisions, and also have a sense of urgency today when it comes to your daily must. You want to be able to pick your momentum up by getting work done and stacking not goals, but stacking tasks that you know you need to be doing every single day. Do not let that little voice win in your head today. All right. And then once you stack today, and today's an awesome day, you got tomorrow to do it again. And then the day after, and then before you know it, you're super proud of yourself. You're feeling great. You're moving. Reviewing previous trades. All these setups are starting to get really in tune with your mind and pretty much downloaded into your brain. So now you can recognize them in the live market and get really confident in taking them while you're in the live market when we see them the rest of the week. All right. Lewis, you have a
Alright, bro.
question?
No, I'm just
Oh, okay.
no.
Yeah,
No,
just
not at all.
when I see you guys unmute yourself, I just wonder if you have a question. But yeah, get those daily musts done, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 7 a.m.
All right,
guys. Have a great day.
so guys.
Good job today, boys.